A wedding is a party. A marriage is a lifetime. Never confuse the two. Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to the big conversation right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Today we're talking about something that stirs up strong opinions and emotions. Big weddings. Are they really about love, or have they become elaborate performances for society? From bridal trains 20 people long to weddings that look like movie premieres, many couples go big, not always because they want to, but because they feel they have to. Parents, culture, social media, peer pressure, they all play a role. Some say small weddings are poverty-minded. Others say they're the most intentional and peaceful way to begin a marriage. Let's not even talk about boring to meet society's expectations. We'll also play our viral agree or disagree game in the fun and flow segment. Plus, we'll drop a fun fact later in the show. Follow us on social media on Instagram, YouTube, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode. But first, let's kick off with our headline of the day. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Oh, I'm there Friday already.
Yes. Oh, I'm there.
You look lovely, by the way. Welcome to the end of another beautiful week. And thank you all for always being here. My name is Ronke Giwa Onofua. Joining me today?
Well, I am Ayo Tejosho. Thank you for joining us.
I am Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, Queen.
And I am Olajumoke Caxton Martins.
All right, so we're starting off with our headline of the day. Oh, sorry, what's your headline of the day?
Okay, so speaking on gunmen attacking or storming Senator Natasha's family home in Kogi. I mean, it's not new that, you know, she has been in the news a lot lately, all spanning from, you know, the issues within the house, the Senate House, and now we see that I think it was 3 gunmen who, you know, stormed her house in Kogi. Thankfully, no lives were lost. But I think what caught my attention was a few people's narratives on this. Now, some of the idea that she actually staged this. Because, yes, you know, someone said, oh, let her show us videos of, you know, the actual attack, you know, that she, you know, probably just planned this because she needs to
corroborate her allegation that they were going to assassinate her.
Yes, because she had previously said that. Right. So, I mean, show us evidence. And also because she had said before that, you know, she has evidence about the assault, you know, from Senator Akpoti, and she still hasn't, you know, shown anything, that she's just doing this to, in quotes, stay relevant.
Wow.
Right? And then, of course, the other narrative is, I mean, she's just being attacked for voicing out, because we are still seeing her, you know, having to protect herself, protect her dignity, how people have made comments about her or her children, her family. And if this is what is happening to, you know, a senator, someone in politics for speaking out, what is the fate of an ordinary man?
Absolutely.
So it's a disturbing scenario.
I like where Osare ended things. It's very, like I said the other day, we had the discussion that this case looks like it's like a mirror into what happens in the larger society. Unfortunately, when women come out to say, oh, I've been assaulted or I've been violated in this way, people are always asking for proof. They make it seem as though it's something you were waiting for to happen, and then you should have caught that moment. It's unfortunate that she has experienced this, what's it called? Gunmen have invaded her home. And it's, to me, I don't know when it's going to end. I don't know when it's going to stop, that women continue to be victimized. I also hope that considering the fact that she raised the alarm earlier, that, you know, some people have made certain attempts, people don't just dismiss this and just end it at saying she should bring proof. If she has to have protection from the police or whatever, she needs to do whatever she needs to do to keep herself safe.
Absolutely. Now, next time we have International Women's Day and people ask the question, why don't women contest or get involved in politics? This is why. Who wants to go through this? You know, who wants to go through, so who wants to be in an office where people are going to be commenting about your body and your outfit? Who wants to go through, you know, go work in a place where people are going to be attacking your family and attacking your personal life? Who wants to go to an office or work in a space where people are going to be trying to kill you or going to try to kill you because you have, you know, reprimanded them for sexually, you know, harassing you, and you can't complain? Why do women want to go into that kind of space?
Well, the painful thing for me is if she's raised an alarm, then there should have been some type of security put in place for her since then. I mean, this should not happen. It should not, she should, even if we're going with the other side of the story, she should not be able to successfully stage an attack if security has been beefed up around her. You know, it just shows that we raise alarm and we're most likely ignored a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
You know.
And instead of saying she staged this, perhaps an investigation.
Exactly.
Perhaps an investigation.
Okay, good.
This. So let's see.
But more than investigating, please let's protect her.
Absolutely.
For all it's worth.
Absolutely, because we don't have that many women representing us, and we need more women representing us. How can you make laws when we don't have enough people who can say they understand what we're going through? We need more women lawmakers, and so we have just a few. And look at what they're having to deal with. Sad. Aya, what is your headline?
Well, mine is on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. It says AI threat or opportunity. Schools, teachers cite concerns, search for academic integrity. Now, it goes on. It was more like an opinion piece, but it showed the average Nigerian's mind where whatever we don't understand, you know, whatever we feel threatened by it. I am testament to the fact that AI is a huge opportunity to any society finds its way. Now, there are some ways that it can be misused. There are cons, and you know, there are concerns. The concerns they've raised are valid, but we don't have to write it off. We don't have to see it as something to counter, so to speak. They raised objections and concerns over one. You know, there's academic integrity at stake, where students who used to be, you know, who struggle now seem like, you know, they are versed so
are they
much
accusing them of maybe plagiarism using, you know,
not
maybe
just
like a ChatGPT?
Yes, ChatGPT in particular, where they're saying that the students who struggle normally during normal class and lectures, now when you give them an assignment or you give them a test, they do it so well. And so they're raising the concern that ChatGPT and other AI maybe aiding that.
I know a lot of people shout about Chat. I actually love ChatGPT. And that's the thing. This is a pointer to we're not all going to learn the same way. And teachers in Africans need to know that. African parents, African teachers, we don't all learn the same way. And truly, we must realize that just because someone doesn't learn fast, doesn't read well, you shouldn't write them off. There are things. These things are to aid us. And there's nothing wrong. We've heard back in the day about how students abroad would do open tests. In Nigeria, we used to look at that like, isn't that cheating? You know, but no, you want your people to succeed. And I think that's number one mentality that I have an issue with that.
Pass or fail.
Exactly. We need to want our children to succeed. And I'm not saying, oh, give them the easy way out or etc. ChatGPT aids me in so many ways. It helps me to focus on more important things. You know, so it's not as if I'm telling, and it's obviously how you ask the questions with ChatGPT that helps you get the best answers. So let's teach them how to, you know, use ChatGPT in a way that they're not just using a doorway. Just put your questions there and it just generates answers. Let's use these tools to aid their learning and not necessarily to make it seem like
add. Apart from ChatGPT, we have other AI platforms. We have
Gemini.
Now, I feel like some teachers or educators generally want to take the easy way out. As it is presently, as soon as a student submits something, it's either a pass or fail situation. We have in Sena Climbed where people have presentations. Even if ChatGPT helped you to write that thing out, how about you read that thing and
own it?
Assessment needs to change. It needs to be flexible. At the end of the day, you want the child to do well. But the average mentality of the average educator in Nigeria is,
go the hard way. It must be hard.
Particular mark is for
You
God.
must suffer.
This one is
I always make an example of the person that made the remote control. Imagine saying that you are lazy, you cannot go and turn on the TV. But someone created something to aid our being able to do things easier. Let's think of how we can make things. You look at the calculator. Imagine someone said, "Oh no, go and start writing 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 20 plus 30." But we need to be more innovative instead of thinking, "Oh, everything that's coming from technology is a demon."
I think the issue is people tend to misuse, and it now seems like they now want to start becoming redundant, because just like the calculators are, you know, there to help, but we still see that there are some situations where you can do without a calculator. How many people now can construct a very, you know, professional email without using the help of you know, an AI?
Well, why do you want to do it yourself?
It's because they've been so reliant on it, right? And now, I mean, ChatGPT can even solve mathematical equations for you.
Yes.
So what happens when I don't like mathematics?
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So, I mean, they give you, you know, tough questions. I won't even need to ask my parents. I'll just use ChatGPT.
Yes.
And not everyone will want to go through the stress of actually understanding the process.
Right.
Because ChatGPT would actually outline it line by line to solve for you.
Yes.
But I think the problem now is people to just want to put the answer and not still know how to do it themselves. What happens where the software crashes? If it crashes, can you still do it by yourself? Let's not be too dependent on it, right? It's there to help, yes. And then on the other end, I still would say, let the educational system improve as well. Let technology not run us, you know. Yes, precisely. Let's still improve, you know, our educational standard. Right? So that as technology is improving, education too is also improving.
So I don't think the onus is on us to now sit down. I think it's not the thinking we don't want to do. We just want to make things hard for everybody. Sit down and think of how we can embrace this thing to enhance learning, as opposed to, you know, because like I said, why would I want to sit down and construct a letter today? Why?
And then we need to change the purpose and the structure of our assessments. Now, I remember that when I did my master's, I got the questions, my final questions on the first day. And so I was going to study to know how to answer those questions. And then it just became very obvious that the mentality of the person assessing me is different from all the teachers I'd ever met. And that just shows that what exactly are we testing? Are we testing the understanding of the subject matter? If you structure your assessments in a way to test the understanding of the subject matter, then it doesn't matter if ChatGPT just downloaded it for you. If someone else did that assignment, it would show, you know, from well-structured questions. There's no how in you are answering on your feet, you know, you are doing mental work. You're not going to have to pick up your phone and assess. You are going to have interviews, you're going to do presentations. No matter what that AI tool has given you, you must have understood it to be able to present it. Now, if AI is helping us understand better, then it's on our side, not against us. And so, like Ayo said, we're starting from revamping our mentality. How exactly do we approach technology? Are we using it as a tool? That just means that as the world is progressing, like Osari said, we must grow as well. We must learn at the same rate at which technology is being churned out. We can't use the same mentality we used to train us, for example, to train our children. I mean, it won't make any sense.
And that's the honest truth. We must develop, we must improve ourselves, our curriculum, everything. Must sit down and start to, because I mean, we'll only be insecure if we know we're not doing our job. I don't think computers can ever take people's jobs if you're thinking and forward thinking as well. You know. So anyway, my headline is from the Vanguard newspaper, and it's on insecurity, how bandits, killer headsmen have impacted farming and food supply. And in recent times, we've talked about how everything's expensive. Food is expensive. The number one reason is not just about, you know, foreign exchange or whatever. One of the main issues really is that a lot of farmers cannot, you know, get to their farms, cannot farm without being killed. Some of them actually have to pay to get to their farms. And I think this is so sad, because we've been talking about this monster we've been creating for a long time, and this monster seems to get bigger, seems to be getting bigger and bigger. In this story, it's talking about how, you know, farmers, both husband and wives, in some cases their children are gruesomely maimed, murdered, with their ancestral homes and farm produce and barns completely set on fire, thereby rendering them incapacitated. It says Niger State was for about 4 years under the siege of bandits, as 18 of the 25 local government areas were completely taken over by bandits. We know that a lot of our food comes from this area.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to ensure that we don't go hungry? You know, one
food
day.
is important.
Because food is important. So it's sad, but this is why when we talk about when we go to the market, food is expensive. A lot of our food comes from that side of the country, and a lot of them cannot get to their farms. A lot of them are killed, and we need security to secure our food and secure the people that provide our food. You know, so we hope that they're able to do something about that. Yeah. Jumoke, what is your headline of the day?
Yeah, my headline is from the Blueprint. Federal government hints on tariff hike as power generation hits 6,003 megawatts.
Again?
Exactly. We're barely coping with the price of power generation. And to think that this, the power from the federal government is our safety line, you know, that safety line that is hardly ever available, that we have to resort to generating power by ourselves.
Yes.
And then there's going to be a tariff hike. Those on band A are crying because they have more power than everybody else, and they are barely keeping up. I mean, businesses are like going under from power. It's stifling the economy, and then we have to face a hike again. And I'm like, there's no how this is not going to impact directly inflation, because everything will become more expensive. And then it's not even like, okay, so they say power generation has increased, and I'm wondering where is it? Because personally, 4 days, no, nothing.
Wow.
Thank God for solar panels.
Really?
4 days straight, nothing. And then you're increasing the tariff because you have increased generation. And I'm like, okay, so where exactly did that power you're generating go? You know, because it's not any better. At my side of town, I don't know, you guys might be having it better.
So we have it much better.
It's as they
We have
feel,
it
to
better
be
as well.
honest. It's when they're feeling
It's
good.
an emotional
that we
thing.
have, like, because I mean, before I could boast that, okay, I mean, to be honest, maybe 20 hours a day.
Yes.
But now, since February, it's drastically reduced. Is when they feel like that's.
But this news
Guys,
piece says it
yes,
has
there's
improved
going to
since
be-
the 4th of March. It's improved so much that we need to increase the price. And so I wonder exactly, because this April,
Improve for who, I guess, is the question we need to
because this April, I'm not sure I've had 72
Wow.
hours throughout April.
Throughout April.
What?
Oh, yes. So I'm wondering, where's the power? Okay, we're generating.
I can't relate, because
I
we
can
have-
relate. As much as we have, well, steady,
Yes.
in quotes, power supply, it's a bit low. We're on band A. We're supposed to be on band A. So we have sometimes the full 24 hours
Wow.
of power. But
I'm moving
it cannot
in.
even, please, you're welcome. It can't even power our 1.5 or 2 horsepower
AC.
ACs.
Wow.
And we have complained if it's a technical problem. I feel like at this point they're making it seem as though it's an option between, do you want power?
I mean, you don't.
Or are you going? Oh, hey, something
let's
like that.
generate
You want
yourself.
and
So
you don't
if you
want.
want power, we're going to choke you, so to speak. It's unnecessary,
And-
especially where
and
we have
tax you.
business people.
Right.
When Jumoke mentioned the headline to me when we were outside, I felt tired. Oh, so we're going to pay more.
Exactly.
You should not give us. You know
Exactly.
what? Let's go back to the days of this.
No, just
kerosene
stick to your solar panels. Really.
Everybody will adjust. at the
Especially
end of the
business
day.
people who are
Yeah.
already, you know, paying
It's-
for so much. I
it's
know how much our
hard.
bill is for this space.
Power,
It's
You
yeah.
know,
hard.
and it is really, really hard. Can business people just, you know, just breathe?
Yeah.
Can they just breathe? It's sad. I mean, like you said, power for who? How many people can say that they actually have this power and say that you're now going to, also, you know, increase the
yeah.
tariff again? It's already choking. There's some people on Bande who are just like, please just put me on Banzi.
We don't mind.
Because
it's not
by
the
the
same
time your
thing.
bill comes, you know, it's really ridiculous. That's even if you're on postpaid, you know, or if you're on prepaid. Which one's postpaid, prepaid? Anyway, you know.
Prepaid is like there's a straw.
Yes,
like
exactly. They're just sipping it.
Do you want it?
Because that one
Yes.
too has
Exactly.
increased
Yeah.
over time.
You know, you buy the power in your card, and by the time you know it, you know, 20,000 is gone.
Just pump water and it's-
Exactly. So, I mean, just let Nigerians breathe. Nigerians just need some sort of respite.
Yeah.
Whether it's tariff, whether it's fuel, whether it's whatever, we need to breathe. All right? Anyway, that is it on our Headline of the Day segment. Thank you very much for watching. But we've got more for you as we'll be going on to do our big conversation and looking at the topic, big weddings. How many people are watching the JP wedding?
Well,
Many
we're
people are
there
watching.
now.
Yeah, there, yeah. I'm dressed for it. Priscilla.
You, this is the color.
Exactly. This is the color. Oh, yeah. So you know that's a big one. And I find that obviously these are celebrities. Obviously, there are sometimes that some, let me say, mere mortals want to also do celebrity. So when we look at big weddings, is it really for love or for show? That's what we're talking about on the big conversation. So make sure stay tuned. We'll be right back.